Collect the build.
Welcome, Marnix, also known as Kloek. Thanks for being here. I will start with a short introduction. Our listeners can know you as the man behind Cheese Robot and Lightning.Watch, the routing node. And Cheese Robot is used by a lot of node operators and Lightning communities worldwide. And with your huge Routing Node Lightning.Watch, with over 1,200 channels, you offer a Lightning.Watch bot as a solution for node operators to check if their node is active and for using your node as a watchtower. And last week you recovered your node, and therefore I want to discuss it in this quick talk. What actually happened with your routing nodes, how you recovered, what your plans are in the future, and tips you might have for other node operators for perhaps preventing this from happening or recovering as easy as possible. So let's start with what actually happened with your node.
Oh man, yeah. No, it wasn't a fun week. Let's put it like that.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I had to recover my node, and that means I needed to close all my channels. You started this podcast nicely with saying I have over 1,200 channels. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
not the case anymore.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, it really crashed. I mean, and yeah, well, it was my fault. So my LND was okay, but there was a. Yeah, so let me tell you what happened.
Yeah.
I wanted to upgrade the node, so just regular maintenance, and that's all right. Just moving to a new version. So on Sunday morning, I said, all right, I'm gonna be down for a bit because of maintenance, and that's all right. So I wanted to restart the LND first, just to see if that all went well, and it didn't. It didn't want to restart. So then I dove into the logs, and I wanted to see what was going on, and then it had this little log line saying I cannot compress the database because there's not enough space available.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. Yeah, I mean, you have this underlying channel database, and it gets huge if you do a lot of routing, and it needs at least the size of that database. It needs at least that size free to do the compaction, and it didn't have it. I mean, the database was 15 gigabytes large. And I didn't have 15 gigabytes free. So what do? I started a new partition, a new disk, just to put this stuff on. And I started to copy things over. And then that copy stopped. And I thought, I see what happened. My new partition is not big enough. So I copied everything back to the original position. And that's where it went wrong. So I will come back to that. But I put everything back. I made a new partition that was large enough, 100 gigabytes now, and I copied the stuff to that new partition. And then I thought, let's go, let's start this node. It should all be okay. And it didn't start. And then I said, oh no, that's not good. So what actually happened when I copied it the first time to that new partition, which was not large enough, what did I do? Yeah, I copied it to the not large enough partition, and then it stopped halfway. So my channel database was only copied, only half of it was copied. And then I saw, okay, this failed, and I copied it back. And what did I do? On the place of the original file, I put the half channel database back, and that meant that was the end of that. That's you cannot do much. And then what I needed to do was to recover, because you cannot put back a full backup. I made a full backup 11 hours before, but that will not work. I needed to use the actual small backup file. It's called the static channel backup SCB file, and I needed to recover, which actually means close all the channels, request all your peers to close the channel with you. That's what happened.
Yeah. In a nutshell, well, I can imagine that at that moment it was really a bad feeling, because let's start with the 15 gigabytes of the database channel of
channel database. Yeah,
exactly. Is that a normal amount, you think, or because there's a lot of talk about compacting the database file?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because it is that database, that's a bolt database, BOLT, and that's just a database just a database software which is used by LND. And indeed, it needs some compaction, like you used to have defragmentation on your disk to make things better. And that needs to happen. 15 gigabytes. It's quite large, I think. But then, I talked about it in the Lightning.Watch channel, and I had some comments from Zero Fee Routing, that node, and he said his database grows with 7 gigabytes a day. So that's even crazier. Yeah,
7 gigabytes per day, and it's also because I thought it stores also the transactions that are not how do you say it, when you rebalance, like for example for balance with Satoshis. Then you try some simulation of transactions, and it gets logged, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's some. The failed transactions also get logged. Of course, all the transactions get logged because I think LND needs to store all the states if your peer misbehaves. And I always had the feeling, but maybe someone with expert knowledge can explain a bit more. I always had the feeling that with this new point PTLCs, there's point time lock contracts, I always had the feeling that you didn't need to store all the states. So maybe that would help this thing. But the other thing is this whole bold database scheme also means you need to do compaction.
Exactly, and your channel database file was 11 hours old at that time, I saw, and that means, of course, if you put it back, then you put a lot of problems on your back, because then it gets in the way of the states that are actually there.
Yes.
So if it's not correct, then it's even worse. Yeah,
exactly. If you're broadcasting old states, then
exactly,
you're a cheater. Yeah.
So you needed to recover your node. And what did you exactly do? And also with your paying customers, you said it already.
So the recovery meant needing to close all the channels, which underlying that actually means asking all your peers to close your channel with you. And then, you need to do that on a new node. So I put a new node in, put my old seed phrase in. So it's very important to keep that seed phrase, at least to close the, or to get the on-chain balance, but also so you can use the same public key again. That's derived from that those seed words you get when you install LND. So I needed to install a new node and then say do the recovery steps. And now this week I'm opening channels to my paying customers because they do expect the Lightning.Watch service to come back. The service that alerts you if your node is down. It has been down for a week now, which is a real shame. And now I will reimburse everyone, of course. But first, we're opening new channels.
Yeah, because you have the information, of course, of all the channels you had. So that's right.
Which is a problem because some paying customers they have this minimal chain size, which means I need to open 5 million sats and 10 million sats, and I cannot always do that. But I try my best.
Of course, and it means that the nodes need to be active, right? Because if they're off or something, offline, then you can't open the channel.
Yes, but that's also a lesson for me about recovery, because what I'm going to do better is closing inactive channels. And that's really important because when I did my recovery, like I said, you're actually asking your peers to close your channel. You're asking your peers, please close it correctly with the latest state and make that closing transaction. And please you broadcast it, and then we all get it back. But I had around 100 peers which weren't online. And I always thought,
that's a lot.
I always thought maybe they come back, but no.
No. You use the last state that they have, and because they're active, then they can close it.
Yeah. So I have some sets I don't get back because of those closed channel.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah. And with I was thinking about the states. So need to be the newest possible, of course. And if they are off, then you have a problem. Is it possible for some kind of threshold or something to check how much time channels are offline?
Yeah, well, Yeah, so Lightning.Watch actually has this feature, which is dead peers feature, which will tell you if some of your peers haven't said anything to the network in, I think it was 14 days, and then it's considered dead. So but of course the bot is now down. But that's the plan. To keep track of that.
Yes, exactly. That's very useful because most of the time it's 1 hour or something or less, and then they're online again. Yeah, and I've read that in time you're thinking to move away from Bolt and using Postgres. Is that correct? And what is the main reason for it?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, this whole Bolt thing, that's getting it's getting a little bit annoying. And Joost Jager, the Dutch developer, actually worked on Postgres databases. So that would allow me to switch backends to use not the Bolt database engine, but the Postgres database engine. And Postgres is used a lot worldwide. And you wouldn't need compaction anymore, for example. And you can do distribution of your databases. So you can put it on 2 places. If a big crash happens, you still have it. So that feels better to me.
Yeah, that's an interesting tip, I think. Yeah, because the last thing I wanted to ask is what advice can you give node operators in the world to prevent this from happening, or perhaps some tips to recover the best way possible, or maybe when building a routing node, then take into effect that you have to use some other tooling or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the basics are most important. I mean, having backups is the most important, because I could recover most of my funds with those backups. And of course, with Lightning, you need 2 backups. That's important. You need that seed phrase, those words you get when you set it up, but also you need the static channel backup, SCB. That's one little file which helps you to request the channel closing. That file gets updated every time a channel is closed or opened. So you need to keep that up to date. You cannot do that just weekly. It always needs to be up to date. And there are scripts for that. And I think Umbrel does it for you. I think they upload it to Amazon on some encrypted share, so you can always recover. I think that's good, or at least easy. But if you have a node, keeping backups is important. And then, just to limit the impact or to make sure this doesn't happen to me again, you just need to be very careful when moving around files. I mean, in the end, it was a stupid copy error which caused all this. But fortunately, I had my backups. And like I said, what I want to do better is closing those inactive channels, so that when I have to recover again, those sets don't get lost.
Yeah, nice. Well, I believe that a lot of node operators can use these tips. And I think it's nice to put some links in the show notes, of course. Also, Chan tools. I think it's very important for node operators to know something more about this. So we will put some extra info in the show notes.
For sure. Well, I did use that before. Yeah, Chan tools is very good. It allows you to do a lot of operations on your database. So that was helpful before, but not in this case.
No, exactly. Too bad. Well, thanks, Kloek, for having this talk with me, and I wish you a nice day.
All right. Thank you.
All right. And for everyone who wants to know more about Kloek, Cheese Robot, or Lightning.Watch, check episode 1 of the Connect the World podcast, and of course the links in our show notes for some tips. And thanks for listening and watching. If you like this quick talk, then don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Until next time, have a nice one, Kloek.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Connect the build.